Might be up there with some of my favorite Kobe's. Those, the Bruce Lees, the Del Sols, the Grinches. Like, I'm a Kobe person. Everybody knows that. Like, it's the best shoe. It's not even close. I probably like the Kobe 6s the best, which are the ones I have on right now. I like the 5s as well, but the 6s are kind of my thing. So obviously just to wear his shoe, and obviously what Vanessa has done and their family has done, and continuing his legacy, not only obviously within his shoe, but just that whole foundation and just the Kobe brand is pretty incredible. So I feel very lucky and fortunate to not only represent Nike, but also their entire...
The Athletics. The world is buzzing following a genuinely surprising change of circumstances in a move that's both.
Going off the court all the way up to the tunnel. This was a long competition, and I love Boston pouring into this young. It's supposed to be. This isn't a period, and Aaliyah made sure that her rookie. We have. I love that leadership from Aaliyah Boston. That's been a hard first half. I want to compliment Dejanay Carrington. She has had to.
Unprecedented and momentous. Nike has formally apologized to the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is a superstar, but that's not. Every apology is accompanied with a unique homage that is said to be unlike everything they've already done. Combination has surprised fans, and the media is trying to figure out what caused this significant change. Let's examine. Exploring the specifics of this remarkable. Sports are being rocked by this encounter. Scenery. Fans have differing opinions about the issue. Praise this as a long overdue recognition of Clark's exceptional influence on basketball. On the other hand, skeptics question the legitimacy of Nike's goals, particularly in light of this. Similar to how competitor Adidas was said to prepared to provide an incredible $30 million offer, the ramifications are extensive. They are now more than just the basketball floor, impacting business boardrooms and changing the perception of female athletes. Saw and applauded this story. Goes beyond a particular sportsperson or a single business. It acts as a potent demand equality in athletics. Before we examine the complex developments of, we encourage you to like and share this content and sign up for our channel. Support fuels our dedication to delivering the most fascinating and perceptive sports, narrating stories.
To miss school. Absolutely. To see your sister and Stolke posting up, but you know who they go to. Abby Marshall. Here comes Clark. How will she go for history?
Caitlin Clark has overcome every obstacle in women's basketball is amazing. Fans are enthralled by the court's performance, as well as her exceptional long-range strokes and incredible playmaking skills that elevate. In only one, she rose to legendary status, season to which she has been compared. Legends like LeBron James and Steph Curry, not just for her exceptional abilities, but also because of her exceptional capacity to include supporters in a larger campaign for sports for women. Although in sharp contrast to her accomplishments have earned her accolades from the company, has arrived agonizingly slowly. Nike's first quiet about Clark's. The astonishing ascent was unexpected. In the past, the company has been fast to honor masculine sportsmen like Michael, but Jordan and Zion Williamson. Clark's outstanding achievements appear to be disregarded. This apathy it's not only a slight to her, it conveys a depressing message for all young people. As she plays, the girl observes her nurturing fantasies of a time when basketball for women is treated with the same dignity as the men's game.
Now, at the time, a lot of us were so excited about this. Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand. Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring her?
Nike just dropped $28 million on Caitlin Clark, but now they're acting like she doesn't exist. No ads, no commercials, no merch. What's going on?
Unquestionably, Clark's talent requires attention-grabbing conversations that not only regarding her genius but also the ingrained prejudices that prevent women from. She is more than just an athlete. As a basketball player, she represents a new age that embodies fortitude, and Caitlin Clark, who is an equality advocate, deserves greater acknowledgement and assistance. And her admirers completely concur that it is. It's time to recognize the revolutionary contributions made by athletes such as Clark, whose influence extends beyond the court in which she is. She is a force for more than just a player. Transformation, motivating innumerable others to emulate her by exploring the world of. As sports change, Caitlin Clark stands ready to lead in the front. The manner.
Are we talking about? 22 is not a regular rookie. Might be the best rookie we ever seen. Best backcourt in the league. And Kelsey Mitchell, NBB. Nothing but buckets. Let's get right to it. Cross, pound, dribble, give me 3. Get it out the net. Best off guard in the league. 22 the best PG in the league.
For several months, the Nike's lack of action spoke volumes in contrast to Caitlin Clark's amazing plays encapsulated the internet users' attention to the brand that, renowned for urging everyone to simply do. It seemed to be waiting impatiently, expected a billboard, a campaign, or simply a straightforward message on social media, but what? Instead, they were given a deafening, quiet in a sport that is in dire need of, wants to be known by the general public. This silence was like a great loss. Opportunity. This silence turned into significantly more remarkable when positioned next to Nike's previous efforts to introduce the male players' careers take 4. For instance, when Zion Williamson, Nike invaded the NBA and took out all the pauses to commemorate his debut. The difference between Clark's outstanding accomplishments and Nike's deficiency in recognition was blatant, humiliating the accidental message. Had the impression that women's basketball was still unworthy of funding.
The West Des Moines native, like you said, continues to break records on the court. We've seen it all year, but she's also breaking records off the court. And she's doing some things no other women's athlete has done before.
Some may deem her as Iowa royalty, as Caitlin Clark is paving the way for women athletes in Iowa, and her success continues to show all across the state. Clark's first major retailer NIL deal came from the locally founded Hy-Vee.
You know what? I mean, her popularity, it is the Caitlin Clark effect. Anything that we're going to put.
And detractors cite this error as evidence of a larger issue, the systemic. Nike's devaluation of female athletes, refusal to take action sparked conversations about the differences in gender in sports, marketing that forces the company to deal with a increasing criticism as discussions sprang out, and it becoming more obvious that the silence from one of the biggest sporting brands in the world was not only a mistake, it was suggestive of a more significant cultural problem inside the sector.
His signature shoe in his rookie season. When can we expect yours?
I don't make those decisions, so you have to wait and see.
As Nike faltered, Adidas responded by seizing the rumors of opportunity started to spread that Adidas was getting ready to exceptional offer that is said to be approximately. Caitlin Clark will get $30 million to become the face of their company. This wasn't just an endorsement agreement, it was a daring declaration. Adidas understood what it appeared that Nike couldn't see. Caitlin Clark represents basketball's future, and ING having her as a partner denotes an in line with advancements. Adidas has long been seen as a disturbance in the industry, but this action could change the sports war landscape indefinitely. The brand has already shown its dedication to women's sports with well-timed sponsorships and creative advertising efforts by Adidas, filling the void left by Nike, positioned itself as more than just a competitor, but as a supporter of gender parity in the field of sports marketing.
Okay, unboxing. She got us a gift. For Caitlin's birthday, she got us a gift. Oh my god! Look at these! I really like the thick shoelaces. Oh my, they're really cool. I really like the color green. They're so cool. It's gonna bring out my eyes. Yeah. I love you. These are awesome. I'm gonna have to pop out in these.
The reported deal caused a stir via the sports sector. Should Adidas is able to obtain Clark's support, it may start a chain reaction response that forces other companies to reconsider how they support and appreciate. The stakes could hardly be higher for female athletes, greater, and the focus is squarely on these two giants when they are living crucial part in sports' future.
Wow! So first things first, you're the first player in Fever history as well as the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double. How are you feeling about that?
It's a great game. Thank you all for coming out. You made this environment electric. I don't know if we would have won without you, so we appreciate it.
You guys fought hard the entire game. What were some of the keys to winning this game today?
I thought we were really resilient. We were down 6 with 3 minutes to play, and we just found a way to win and then held them to 3 points there in the last 3 minutes. So on both sides of the ball, we were really good.
You beat the #1 team in the league. What kind of confidence does this give you moving forward?
The ones at home that you can win are really...
There is a change in this story, revealing one that highlights the significance of representation and Caitlin's investment in women's sports. At the forefront of this is Clark, shift with the capacity to redefine the environment for female athletes as Adidas emerges as Nike's silence looms enormous. As a possible partner in pursuing a new period of acceptance and acknowledgement in the fight for Caitlin Clark in sports is. It's not just about branding, it's a representation of larger cultural ideals and the pressing need to alter the way how female athletes are viewed and backed as athletes, fans, and brands. See this drama as it develops. It acts as a reminder that frequently quiet speaks more powerful than words. The decisions made by these companies during the next few weeks will have an impact that goes well beyond marketing, methods that will shape the future. Outstanding female athletes for many generations too. When will Nike finally speak up, participate in the discussion, or will Adidas keep taking the lead in supporting the sportsmen who have long been disregarded? The world awaits, eagerly awaiting the outcome.
They vote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what does that mean to you to know that there are journalists who cover this league day in and day out who believe you are one of the top 5 for the MVP award?
It's definitely cool. I think especially where I started the year and then was able to kind of figure it out as we go, and now entering game 40, like it feels night and day from where I started. And you know, I'm proud of myself in that regard. I think I've learned a lot, and I've had to learn without really much time to practice or have an off season to implement things that I want to implement, and having to learn, you know, a new scheme and new teammates and new
in a development that seemed almost like a movie, Nike has at last decided to speak up and reveal a important homage to Caitlin Clark. Now a large banner is shown above her exhibition at the Indiana Fever Arena. Picture with a heartfelt statement that recognizes her extraordinary achievements, but not as remarkable as. This gesture can be the moment when everything happens. Makes one wonder why Nike has selected this time to take action and what has led to. Many fans were surprised by the quick response. The apology from Nike is bittersweet. Experience, it is unquestionably. It was great to see Caitlin get the attention she has always merited on. The other is difficult to get rid of. Sensation that this recognition is more in response to the alleged collaboration between Adidas and Clark, more than a genuine appreciation of her influence on the sport and the announcement's time. Implies that Nike may be in danger. Control mode in an attempt to save its reputation in the face of criticism.
So Frankie writes a story where Frankie claims to feel unsafe at an Indiana Fever basketball game. Okay, let me give you a couple of the highlights from this story at Anscape.com. I'm at the Sun Fever game and the vibe is horrendous. The woman behind me was mocking Dejanay's eyelashes and only stopped when my partner turned around and told her to stop being racist. There's a man in a MAGA hat. Then there's this woman in a Ban Nails shirt and cartoonishly fake nails, she said. Okay, it goes on.
Critics didn't take long to point out, identifying the fundamental problems with this gesture, but an homage and a banner. Videos are admirable, they do. Nothing can undo the months of neglect. that many fans came before them, and observers find Nike's apology to be heartbreaking, raising questions over whether the business truly appreciates women's basketball or if it's just trying to preserve its place in the market given Thon, a rising competitor with a 3 on the triple flea and the route for a newbie. Nike created a tribute for Caitlin. There is no denying that Clark was an incredible, colorful video ad that was launched across major networks that feature her, accomplishments that smash records, surrounded with sincere endorsements from legendary basketball players like Sue Bird, and the slogan for Candace Parker, Caitlin Clark, unstoppable, soon gained internet traction, indicating that Nike was ready to accept her as a symbol of culture. However, despite all of the excitement, some fans were unable to suppress the feeling that this was only an instance of being too little, too late, despite the fact that the homage was definitely. It appeared to be more of an attempt to restore confidence rather than a genuine celebration of Clark's remarkable social skills. Responses from the media were varied while some commended Nike's efforts to respect Clark, and others charged the company with taking use of her fame alone, once they were forced by popular sentiment to take action.
Caitlin, you had talked yesterday about how you felt like every time the team played here, you just didn't play well, and then you called it a crappy game today.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something about this building or being here that impacts that?
No. Like I said, like we were down 8 or something, maybe 11 going into the fourth. Like we had our chances. Like I felt like I said, we didn't play well. Like we didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing. And you know, we didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of. But even that to the side, like we're capable of winning this.
Despite the suspicions about the tribute, it unquestionably was successful in increasing fans of Caitlin Clark's exposure, who might possess previously disregarded women's basketball, were captivated by. For Caitlin, her story was a lengthy period of conflicting feelings, long-deserved acknowledgement that despite its significance transpired in the context of dispute and discussion. In brief, Nike's homage and last-minute apologies to Caitlin Clark serve as evidence of the intricacies of business recognition in the sports world, whereas the brand's acknowledgement of her accomplishments is a start in the right direction. It is crucial to take into account the reasons for making such gestures and the influence they have on how others view women's sports in the end. For supporters and for Caitlin, the circumstance is still a complex combination of thankfulness and dissatisfaction, illustrating the continuous fight for true recognition and assistance in women's sports as the dust. One can only hope that this will settle. Moment acts as a spur for additional, regular and significant participation from companies in the future.
NBA history when it comes to starting guards in this league.
The reaction of the general people to, like Caitlin, Nike's apology was diverse. For many, Clark's fan base is an expression of regret and gratitude, marked a historic event in sports that these fans watched. It has a triumph for Clark as much as for any female athlete who aspires to. Suddenly, their excitement exploded on social media platforms where Caitlin-related hashtags. The discourse was dominated by Clark Nike. On the other hand, some were significantly. This group was less understanding of Nike, only responded since its earnings were at. If Adidas hadn't taken action, the risk would. One fan complained that Nike had disturbed them in a tweet that went viral and gathered more than 1,000 likes. The suspicion was evident, with many people questioning if Nike's apology might ever fully undo the months of the silence that preceded it. Music. Afterwards, some people stated open indignation from a loud minority, said that Nike was using Clark as a simple a pawn in a business dispute for reasons. Admirers, the homage didn't appear as sincere recognition and more similar, a plan to lessen the harm. That range of responses demonstrated how this story struck a deep chord with sports fans, enthusiasts in the world.
WNBA champion, Olympian, two-time MVP, and two-time Defensive Player of the Year. If you don't know how I shine, now you will.
Clark's real form addressed the dispute with poise and calmness at an interview with the media after Nike's. She apologized and expressed her appreciation for the acknowledgement, but highlighted the greater good. "It's not about me," she said, claimed that the goal is to motivate the next generation and making certain that women's basketball is respected because it needs to be rewarded for her kind reaction over even her most ardent detractors instead, rather of concentrating on the months of disregard. Clark changed the subject in the direction of advocacy. She asked brands to take women's sports seriously, not as a last-minute idea but as a essential component of their marketing tactics. Clark's modesty and her forward-thinking attitude boosted her. Fans started to see past the dispute, her as more than just a superb athlete, but as a leader dedicated to establishing a long-term change. Eventually, her answer included yet another important part of her legacy as a pioneer in and out of the court.
Christine Brennan of the USA Today had a question for Dejanay Carrington after the incident in which Carrington poked Caitlin Clark in the eye with her acrylic fingernails. And we've talked about it on this program. We had a lot of people who jumped out and said, "Oh my God, she's trying to blind Caitlin Clark. What a horrible thing. She should be suspended from the league."
The apology and homage from Nike indicated a notable change in the way women's basketball is thought of as years in which the sport was unable to recover from the male counterpart's shadows, even if they displayed some of the greatest talented athletes across the world. Caitlin, the tale of Clark, became a turning point that captivated viewers, media outlets, and brands to address the disparities that still exist today. May represent a watershed in the women's sports in general, including the WNBA. If companies such as Adidas and Nike are still invest in athletes such as Clark, it could bring forth a new period of prominence and regard. There are significant risks, and the opportunity to change the story is within reach, but the way ahead is plenty of obstacles in the institutional. Decades of neglect and prejudices won't disappear overnight. It will need constant effort from corporate and player supporters, sponsors to guarantee that this isn't merely a brief moment, but the start of significant transformation.
Caitlin, as you might be aware, there's been some controversy and conversation over the last few days about everything that happened in the Chicago game. Curious how much you pay attention to that, if at all, and what your thoughts are, what your take on that is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on social media, so I don't see a lot of it, but you would be surprised. Like, I still have my TV on in my house, and I'm watching sports.
The criticism of Nike acted as an important reminder for the sports fight. Behemoth as a company that takes pride in taking the lead in culture, the Caitlin Clark saga revealed important. Nike's mistake is depicted in blind spots, the dangers of undervaluing authority, regarding the impact of women's athletics in the cultural environment of today and the future. Nike needs to prove that its apology is sincere. Fans did not anticipate lip service. More than merely eye-catching advertisements, they desire a sincere, long-term dedication to encouraging female athletes across the board. This covers fair sponsorships, equal spending on marketing, and an honest endeavor to elevate women's voices in sports. If Nike is able to difficulty, it can potentially result in a cultural change, but if it fails, once again, Adidas and other rivals will be ready to benefit from the fact that the ball is currently in The stakes and Nike's core have never been greater.